Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to talk about the latest Carolina Panthers loss. This time on prime time, sort of. Well, I guess
Yeah, it's prime time.
really prime time because it was on Prime
Huh? True.
and it was in prime time. Uh, to the Bears, 16-13. A 59-yard Eddie Pinheiro field goal attempt at the end of the game to try and tie the game. Went left, short and left, and time expired. After that, Panthers could not pull out the victory. Jerry, just another
Same stuff.
same old. Yeah,
Yeah, same stuff.
offense
Different
can't
week.
score. Yeah,
Offense looks abysmal. O-line looks abysmal. Wide receivers looks abysmal. Bryce Young looks abysmal. Oh no.
basically everything offense. I mean, defense once again played well. You give up 16 points or less 2 games in a row. You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame anyone. The defense, I mean, what did they have? They played against 60, 70 snaps. I mean, and they held them to 16 points.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, especially with them missing J.C. Horn, Shaq Thompson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Brian Burns this week. I mean, the pass rush, yeah, they need to work on someone besides Brian Burns. But, I mean, 16 points. I mean,
The pass rush couldn't get anything. I mean, they didn't even get close.
no.
All day long.
I'm just proving a point that the defense is really shorthanded in the offense can't even make up with a shorthanded defense at all. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the let's talk about just before we get into the more into the just terribleness of this team. A couple of shout outs. Okay. Dante Jackson had an incredible game.
yeah,
He played his best game, maybe of his entire career. He was awesome. So shout out to Dante Jackson. Also thought Icky played a much better game than he has been playing, and the PFF scores back it up. You know, I think he had the best PFF score of anybody on the team. He had an 89.9 pass blocking grade.
and that's great for him. Like he's
I mean, that's great for anybody. 89.9. That's awesome.
true, but I'm just saying, like he struggled in the past.
Yeah. And even his run blocking was like 73. So like pretty solid game for Icky overall. 2 bright spots. Of course, Smith Marset with the punt return touchdown was great. Amazon kind of ruined it by throwing the flag graphic up there when there was no flag. So I was like, well, can I be excited about this? I don't know. And by that time, it was too late.
Yeah,
for me
I
to be
saw that
excited,
flag.
but
I was like, what?
yeah.
That was so late.
Because you just assume if the
Yeah.
flag's up on a punt return, it's on the offense, right? Or it's on the return team.
Exactly, and our whole team has struggled with penalties, which again, get that more or less goes to the coaching staff. So
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw those few shout outs out there. But yeah, I mean it's become extremely clear that Frank Reich is not the right coach for this team, and maybe for any team. He's just not a good head coach.
at this point, I think everyone needs to. I mean, does this? It needs to be clean house.
Yeah, agreed.
GM, head coach, coordinators, whole shebang. And I'm tired of doing it backwards. I'm tired of hiring a coach and then a GM. It's time to do it the normal way. Fire everybody, do a GM, let the GM decide on who he wants to work with as a coach. Let's not go retread coach, which last offseason we didn't really want to do, but they did it, so you and I hopped on board. Well, Frank Reich had a lot of good offseason. No. Unless it's like a premier coach, jumping on board is not the right choice. I mean, the Andy Reids don't typically happen. Bill Belichick's don't typically happen. It's the
Yeah.
Jim Mora Juniors. It's the other guys like that.
Yeah. I mean, especially in the league now, right? You've got a bunch of young coaches that are kind of
Shane Steichen,
taking over the league. I
top of
mean,
our list,
yeah,
and he's doing a lot better in Indy than Frank Reich did.
with pretty bad circumstances, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's adapting well, and then you've got like Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. He's been there a few years, but he's doing a great job with losing his starting quarterback, and you've got Josh Dobbs comes in, and
I mean,
like
he
they
got rid of
find a way
Dalvin
to
Cook.
they
Let's be
find a way to
honest.
win those games. Like
Yeah.
you know, you just young coaches all over the place that are doing really well, and Frank Reich is just
Garbage.
he's just not built for this NFL. He's not built for this game. This team is not built for what he's trying to do.
I mean,
You know-
look at his call playing the first few weeks. Run up the middle on first down every time. And what has it been since Thomas Brown has taken over that there has been decent play calling, and it's still not good. It's decent. It's not as predictable as the first few weeks. It's not run up the middle every first down. It's not just the same 3 or 4 plays, which, I mean, we got used to it. It was frustrating. At least this week I saw some variance. Doesn't mean this team is good, but
Right? Like it's some variance, but it's still not working.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's still they can't score points. That offense cannot score points. And I thought Bryce was particularly bad in this game. Like I know the past 2 games, but this game just felt like his confidence level has dropped in every single game. He just doesn't he doesn't look like he has any faith in what he's doing out there. I kind of liked early in the game where he was taking off running. I
did
thought,
too.
okay, let's do that a little more and at least give the defense something else to think about, right? I don't like that he doesn't really slide. He kind of takes those hits, but he was trying to get the first downs, right? He was going for it.
going for
And-
first downs and taking a hit, as much as that sounds bad, I'm okay with. Like, that feels like, hey, that's going to rally your offensive players, your receivers, your O-line
Right.
around
And
you.
it's not like he was getting hit too hard, but
Yeah.
just they rack up. And, as Panthers fans, we're a little more aware of that maybe than a lot of teams, right? So I did like that. He didn't really do it much after the first quarter, but he just couldn't, I thought there were opportunities in this game. There were guys that were open. We were watching, I don't know if you were watching, but I was watching the Prime Vision with kind of like the StatCast, and it will show you when guys get open. Like their little circle that's around them will turn green. And there was a lot of green. A lot of guys that were open. Bryce just either didn't have time to find them, which was a major problem against a very weak pass rush, right? Could not protect. So Bryce either didn't have time, or when he did, he just didn't make the right throws or made bad throws. So again, he's a rookie. He's going to have these ups and downs. Right now he's having some downs, but I don't know. This isn't going to get better this year.
No.
This is not going to get better this year. The Panthers probably might get lucky and win one more game all season long. 2 if they're extremely lucky, but this is a team that's going to give Chicago probably the first or second pick in the draft.
Yeah,
And we're just going to have to live with that.
we're recording this on Friday, and I really expect Fitterer to be fired today. I was kind of shocked it didn't happen. I mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna go into next draft season with Scott Fitterer, who is batting like what?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to go into the draft season with Fitter. I think Fitter will be fired.
I mean,
I don't think there's any point in firing him during the season.
I do. I think you get because I think the GM is doing the draft stuff now with the NCAA going on right now. So
He might be. He might be. But he's also got a team full of scouts. Like Scott Fitter's not the only one out there. He's probably not the main one out there doing that stuff. And those scouts are going to stay. Like they're not going to get rid of the whole scouting department. So, but either way, like they can fire Fitter in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and it's not going to make much difference, right? And they can fire him at the very end of the season. I still don't think it's going to make much difference. There's plenty of time between the end of the season and the draft.
Well, the good thing is we don't have a
know.
top 5 draft pick to
Right.
really worry about.
I don't have to worry about those top guys. I don't have to worry about them at all. But yeah, I mean, the time to fire Fitter, I feel like, was several weeks ago if you were going to do it during the season. You know, get somebody up there before the trade deadline, somebody that's going to make decisions. But the problem is, Jerry, it doesn't matter who the GM is.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it
doesn't really matter who the head coach is because David Tepper's making all these decisions.
Yep.
Right? The ones that matter, those are the decisions that he's making. And he's not good at it.
He's so not, and his wife's not good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a problem that's not going to be solved unless he solves it himself, unless he realizes that he needs to take a step back. But I think he's treating this like his fantasy team, like he's treating it like we treat fantasy, because for him it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
For him, he is the one that has control over everything.
I mean, he just doesn't understand. Like you need to give the football players the control. I mean, you're picking the wrong football players because you like them. You want to have a beer with them. No, it's...
You talking about the coaches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he hired Matt Rule. He was like, oh, I like this guy. I want to have a beer with him. He's great, you know. No, that it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, the Matt Rule thing, it seems like all new owners, their first coaching hire is just a bad pick. Like, it seems like that's always the case. And then their second one is usually a lot better. They're more informed. They've been in the league longer. They see what works. They see what doesn't. But I think Tepper he overcorrected so hard from Matt Rule. He's like, all right, so what did I do with Matt Rule? I hired a young college coach. So I'm going to hire an old NFL coach, right? Like
who has experience as a player and as a coach.
Right. He went the complete opposite. And if he was going to do that, he had a coach here who already had the locker room. But it wasn't
offense. And that was his big
I understand.
thing.
Yeah. And that's true.
He had
I don't even hate that.
Hard on for offensive coach.
Yeah.
He didn't even look at D'Amico Ryan, who, by all accounts, is probably the best coach out of the bunch that were hired.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that this process is teaching him another lesson, that you can hire a defensive head coach, and as long as that defensive head coach has a good offensive coordinator, your offense can still be good, right? But your defense is also going to be good.
Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator.
I mean, he's hired an offensive head coach here, and our defense is the best part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a good defensive coordinator. We have a good defensive scheme. We don't even have good players for that scheme.
Not anymore.
Right? And yet they're still able to put together pretty good performances most every week. There was a lull there a few weeks ago, but the last 3 weeks have been very good defensive performances. Very good.
I mean, look at our corners. I mean, J.C. Horn's out. We're playing Boodle, who got on this team a couple weeks ago, who has played great, by the way. I just want to give a shout-out to him.
Yeah.
C.J. Henderson, you traded for him, and it's pretty bad. But, I mean, Troy Hill, look at him. Another guy you got off the scrap heap that has played really well for this team.
They're getting the most out of what they can with this defense right now. And it's cobbled together. It's not built for the 3-4. They're making it work. And that's the argument to keeping this staff around one more season. right, is
No.
let them continue to bring in players that actually fit with the scheme that they want to run, and then see if that helps.
Defense, I would say fine. I'm okay with that. Offense is a different story. I mean, the offense doesn't even look like it's. I think I'm tired of seeing Bryce Young in the shotgun, one running back, in 4 or 3 wide receiver, and 1 tight end, not even helping block, just wide out. Like, this offensive line is not good for that style.
It's not.
It's a
It's not
power
good.
run O line,
Right.
and they're playing spread offense,
Right.
zone
They're playing
blocking
college
schemes.
offense.
And it doesn't work, and I don't know
Right.
why they keep going to it.
Because
Bryce
they don't
Young
have the
has
players.
looked awful because of it.
They don't have the players to run the power scheme. They don't have the players.
Well,
They don't have the players to run the other scheme either. But they that's what I'm saying. Like the players don't fit what they're doing, and if you're playing devil's advocate, I do not agree with this. If you're playing devil's advocate and you're David Tepper and you're saying, "Well, I hired this guy. He doesn't have the right tools. Let me give him another opportunity to bring in the right tools, maybe with a new GM, right?" And if that doesn't work, then you've got your new GM who gets to hire his head coach the following year. I do think Scott Fitter will be fired. I don't see how he's not fired because he has completely ruined this franchise.
but
Like he's
that's
completely
the point
ruined
of the
it.
coach. The coach is supposed to build a better team that fits the players. I mean, I am sitting here as a fan saying, "Hey, this scheme is not working." Why are the coaches not being like, "Yeah, guys, let's hey, this may not fit my system, but let's work around it. Let's try to fix it. Let's work a system that works best for both of us."
Maybe there's not a system that fits this team. I mean, what is the system that fits this team?
I mean, for the most part, we had the same offense, minus Bryce Young and running back, and we ran a power run game. And
Jerry, everything is different on this team. Like all the wide receivers are different. Everything is different. The skill positions are all different. The quarterback is different. The offensive line's not even the same.
You don't think that a power run game would benefit some wide receivers who struggled to get open in a spread offense?
I think they tried to run the ball
with a power play action type of game plan.
They did play action like 40% of the time yesterday.
Yeah, but it's not power. It's just this weird zone read spread option. Like it's not line up with a tight end, 2 tight ends, extra blockers, power run game. First of all, we have no power running back because we got rid of Deontay Foreman.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have
and big bag Miles Sanders.
They don't have the players to run that scheme.
Well, I mean, we all know whose fault that is, but
right. And I think that guy is going to get fired.
I think that guy has to get fired. Steven has a ghost that just throws something behind him that was very upset. Is that Frank Reich's grandmother's ghost behind you? Because she is very upset that we are bad mouthing him.
Oh, that was my my $500 AirPods Max. Oh well, whatever. I didn't pay for them. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I do think Federer will be fired. He certainly should be fired.
Yeah, he should be fired quickly, in my opinion. But
Reich, I don't know.
I think he needs to get fired.
I think he should be fired. I think he should be fired. I don't think he will be fired unless they go 1-16. Go 1-16. I don't see how you can keep your job.
No, especially when you were talking about we plug in the quarterback, we're good to go.
Yeah, but I mean, every coach is going to talk like that. Like, I'm not going to kill him for that. Every coach talks like that.
I don't.
They all
think
have
so.
irrational confidence at the beginning of the season. That's what it's for.
I think you say, hey, no, I disagree with that.
He's going to come in and say, hey, we're probably going to go 4-13 this
No,
year.
you say, hey, we want to get our quarterback started off right. We want to make sure we get him right, and he grows throughout the season. You don't say we're contending for the title and stuff. No,
I don't think he did say that. I don't
he
remember
did
him
say
saying
that
they
we
were
were going
competing for the title.
We were contending for the division title.
But again, he should have said that. He should have believed that.
All right,
Right?
let's move on to this stats.
No,
because
I think it's irresponsible to pretend like a head coach should not shoot for competing every single season.
I agree with that, but I mean, he was acting so. No, this team is way worse than anybody imagined. At least,
I mean, we were the same way.
yeah.
We thought they were going to win, at minimum like 7 games.
I mean, we
We
brought
thought
in
they were
all
better
this
than they were, too.
offensive talent on the coaching staff. They brought in
I think
their
that's
own
where-
players, and
I think that's where we messed up.
Leaved, yeah.
That's where we messed up, was thinking that the coaching was going to be good, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
just
not.
because they brought in a lot of experience, it's just not good. But regardless, I do think the defense has played well, and I would hate to lose Evero and some of those defensive assistants. But if you fire Reich, they're all gone, right? I mean, and honestly, if you fire Reich, everyone should be gone. Campen, everybody, they should all be gone.
Let's burn it
Just
down.
get rid of.
I mean, after
get
this
rid of
season,
everything.
I thought we hit rock bottom last year. Who was it? First of all, I want to say thank you to Jay, who messaged us on Twitter. That was a very nice email, and I appreciate it. But it's time, in my opinion, it is time to burn it down, build from the scraps. I think you run with Bryce Young, and everything else is up for grabs. I mean,
you have to run with Bryce. Like, there's no other option.
Yeah, that's why I like.
Yeah.
You got to go. I still think he has potential. He was still a very quality quarterback that would have been drafted. It just so happens that the other quarterback looks a lot better.
Well, we're not going to talk about the other quarterback today. I feel like people are tired of talking about that.
I agree.
And honestly, I am too. Like, we all know it, but it is the way it is.
He's on our team. And I think he still has a lot of potential. I think
does.
better
He
scheme.
does.
I think better blocking. I think this guy can be a really good quarterback for this team. It's just
My main worry is that I feel like he's
Derek Carr.
he's learning bad habits. He's learning bad
David
habits
Carr.
right now. Yeah, he's losing confidence in himself, and that's why I think that's the main reason why they should fire Frank Reich. Mm-hmm. That is the main reason. Go ahead and just get the stink of this season off of the franchise, off of Bryce Young. Bring in somebody else, a young quarterback guru type guy who's going to get Bryce back on the right, step.
And spend bootloads of money to solidify this offense. I don't care if
offensive line, that needs to be your number one priority.
Offensive line and wide receiver. I don't care. Overpay, protect him, get him in a mental state that makes him feel better. Because you can tell this season has beat him up. He has never experienced this situation, and he has struggled.
And I'm not saying, by the way, that your head coach has to be a quarterback guru. Your head coach can be whoever the best option is at head coach, but you need to have somebody on that offensive staff, particularly your offensive coordinator, ideally, who's going to be an innovative guy who's good with quarterbacks. I mean, that just needs to be the case. So
yeah,
but that I do think Fitterer will get fired, and I don't know about Reich, but
I think Reich's gone.
He should be. He should.
Unless he strings wins together this offseason or towards the end of the season, which I don't foresee. This was the type of win this week and last week. And again, it wasn't the defense. It was the offense where he's in charge, basically. And then, I mean, it's just time.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at some stats. Bryce, 21 of 38.
Yeah. Let's knock this out real quick. We got 7 minutes left.
Yeah, we'll go through it. Bryce 21 to 38, 185, no touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 3 times. Just a bad game, I thought, from him, honestly, overall. Running game was terrible again. 9 carries for Chuba for 23 yards. Miles 2 for -5 yards. I mean, what
I
is
still
going
want
on?
to point out 13 run plays to 41 pass plays in a game 13 to 16. Even if the run game is not looking good and the rush defense is good by Chicago, I feel like again that's
You're
putting
just telegraphing your plays. Yeah.
yeah, it's just bad. It's just a bad game plan.
You're letting a bad pass rush just pin their ears back and come
Yeah.
against a bad offensive line. Like, it's terrible. It's awful. Mike Strawn, 1 catch for 45 yards, led all receivers. Where did he come from? No clue who that guy is.
Who?
Thielen's right. Thielen's 6 for 42. Mingo 3 for 20. And then a couple of catches for a bunch of other guys. Let's see. Luvu led the team in tackles once again with 11. Derek Brown 10. 2 tackles for loss for him, and a couple of QB hits. Dante Jackson, as we mentioned earlier, 7 tackles, 2 pass deflections for him. Great game by Dante.
Yeah,
Jackson.
Dante played really well. I mean, someone we've knocked multiple times. Great game.
Yeah.
Amari Bono, 5 tackles. He actually got some playing time with Burns out.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I didn't see him in the backfield that much, but I mean,
No, yeah, I mean,
no one really did.
Nobody was in the backfield. I'm just looking at Barno. Barno's PFF grade was 57, so he had 54 snaps, probably the most he's ever had. No sacks. Nobody really else to talk about on that defense. Eddie P 2 for 3, missed the big one.
Emir Smith, Marset, we've already talked about returned that kick for. I mean, hats off to you, man. Like,
Yeah, it's the only scoring.
only touchdown of this team.
Yeah,
Just want to call that out.
it was a nice run back too.
Yeah.
Really nice. All right, Tyson Badgett, QB for the Bears, 20 of 33, 162, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He looked just as good as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So, Deontay Foreman, 21 carries for 80 yards. Yeah, 37 carries for the Bears overall, 133 yards and a touchdown.
It seems like even though it was a close game, they kept running the ball.
Yeah. DJ Moore did not have a Steve Smith revenge type game. 5 catches for 58 yards for him.
And I think we want to credit Dante Jackson for that.
For sure.
Jeez.
And Boodle as well. I thought Boodle had a couple of nice plays on him as well. Yeah.
Great
I
job.
think he stopped a touchdown for sure. Cole Kmet, their tight end, 5 for 45. And then a couple of catches for the rest of the guys. 3 sacks for the Bears. Justin Jones had 1. Ngakwe had 1. And Rasheem Green had 1. Montez Sweat had really nothing showed up on the stat line other than 3 QB hits. He was in the backfield a lot, just never actually got there. They had 9 hits overall as a team to the Panthers 4. Really nothing else. Their kicker was 3 for 3 on field goals. That's where most of their scoring came from as well. Team stats wise, the Bears had the ball for 33 minutes to the Panthers 26. Only 5 penalties for the Panthers, so clean that up a little bit
somewhere.
Yeah, clean that up some. But 3 for 15 on third downs. Not going to get it done. Bears were 6 for 15. Good enough on that night to win. So, in terms of stats, that's about that. I don't know, Jerry. Any other thoughts before we get out of here?
I mean, I know PNP podcast is doing a march on Mint for to file their grievance peacefully. If you want to join, feel free. That's not our thing, but like
it's on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday. But I do want to say, be peaceful if you join it. I have no problem with them. I just want to give a shout out to it sucks, man.
Yeah, I mean, other than voting with your wallet, I don't know
And
what
we
else.
have.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
family has. We have
Yeah.
been set offer tickets to go to games, and we're just like, we can't spend money on this team anymore. My wife stopped watching at halftime. She's like, this is awful. I can't watch this. My wife and I met as both big Panther fans. She made me join the Whirling Riot. I was not part of it. I just was more into watching the games and stuff like that. It's just like we can't support this team the way it is. It's just abysmal. It makes me sad every weekend in Thursday nights now. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I have great tickets to the Cowboys game. At
Oh
third,
yeah,
three rows from the field. I am not going. I'm going to sell the tickets because I don't want to support the team. I don't want to buy concessions. I don't want to spend my time watching the Panthers get their butts whooped by the Cowboys. I just don't want to do it. I'm going to do it from home, but I'm not going to waste all that time and money. I'm just not going to do it. So, and it sucks. I hate being like that.
I do
Because I
too.
want to support the guys because it's not their fault. But they don't get that money. They're getting their money regardless. Right? That money goes to Tepper, and he doesn't need it, but it is what it is.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe. Hey, we do like our fans. We really appreciate the emails, the Twitter posts saying keep it up. I mean, it is very helpful trying to continue this in this type of circumstance. I mean, I thought last year we hit rock bottom, but I feel like this is below. We're in Hades time. And I just got cut out. But my mic is still going. So if you're on YouTube, you will see nothing but black. Otherwise, we want to thank everybody. We'll see you next week whenever Steven's calling. So everybody keep pounding and stay safe out there. Thank you very much.